with lapwing, and of course the turtle doves in between. Oh, I'm going to sit down. Oh, that's quite funny. It's not very often that you see the birds go down sort of a step lower. I don't even know what you would call that behavior. I suppose it's just resting. But it's almost sat down on its... the joints of animals is obviously a lot slightly more different to us as humans. I'm trying to think what you would call that. Would you call that its ankle? Possibly its ankle, maybe. It's just sort of resting now. That's hysterical. You know when it's quite funny to see a bird do this is when a stork does it. Now, I haven't seen birds doing this too often, but I have seen a saddle-billed stork, which is a rather large bird. And I came around the corner and I was completely confused. It was sitting in the long grass and I could just see half its legs, and I thought they were taller than that. That gave me a bit of a boggle the one day on Game Drive. I was very confused. Maybe quite relaxed. Normally we hear the blacksmith lapwings clattering away, making that very high-pitched noise that I can't make very well. And they are perfectly relaxed because there are no animals walking around here disturbing them. This is almost how we want to see these birds, sitting here nice and quietly, just going about their day. They don't seem bothered at all. The other birds don't seem to be bothering them too much too. Lots of turtle doves. We're actually getting a few spits of rain now. Now, there we go. That one sat down quite nicely. Perhaps they have a nest nearby. I don't know. Could even be sitting on a nest, this Madam Blacksmith Lapwing, but I'm uncertain. I wouldn't want to go down and disturb them too much. Now we're getting a few little spits of rain, but not very much, not anything too threatening. We've just got a dark cloud coming over us, I'm afraid. And it's been, I believe that you all saw a broad-billed roller. How exciting is that? I was extremely envious. I saw all the screenshots that all of you took. It was really wonderful, so thank you for that, because I unfortunately missed the show and didn't get to see it myself. And another bird that we are anticipating the arrival for is the carmine bee-eater. And I know that James Richard was wondering exactly when the carmine bee-eaters should start arriving. Well, you know, it's hard with these animals because we say one thing and then they do something completely different. My guess is going to be, what are we in now? In October? I reckon halfway through November, towards the end of November, I think we're going to start seeing those carmine bee-eaters. Perhaps even a little bit later. If I'm not mistaken, I think I remember last year, down in the south, we only started seeing them towards the end of November, beginning of December. But perhaps we will see a few earlier. So my bet's between the beginning and the end of November. Let's keep our fingers crossed, because those are lovely, beautiful birds. And I actually want to show you a photo, because I know... hello, you probably all heard Rebecca talking to me there. Before we quickly, I just want to very quickly, oh my goodness, I'm losing lip ice and hand sanitizer. You won't believe what else I've got in my camera box, but I very quickly want to show you a carmine bee-eater. I'll only be a second. I'm trying to get better at this now, trying to find things. Oh, 2-6. Oh, right, I'll show you when I get back.
Folks, we probably got one of the most dangerous things to encounter in the African bush. That is a musth bull elephant, an elephant bull in musths. He's busy trailing a herd that I can also see, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. We know he's a musth bull. Have a look at the posture of his head, that head up posture with the ears above his shoulders, and just that gait that he's got just tells us that he's just big and heavy, and what a man. You can see that he's walking with that swagger that elephant bulls get when they're in musth. Now, we're pretty safe here where we are because he's obviously moving away from us, didn't really get to see us at all, and we're standing in the open. Now, we do have a termite mound close by, and that is the only condition that I would have gotten as close as I did to this particular bull elephant. Gives us a little bit of height above him, but he's moving off. I'll show you exactly why he's moving off in a second or two. And he's busy trailing an elephant herd. Now, musth bull elephants are receptive to elephant females that are in estrus. And not only are they receptive to elephant females in estrus, but they actively search out herds of elephant. Now, what we're going to do is we're quickly going to spin around over here and see if I can show you this herd that he's busy trailing in. Gives us the sort of unique chance to see an elephant herd there in the distance. Now, it's not always that we get the chance to look across a valley and have the target of an elephant bull. It's just such a unique experience. Mainly because the topography over here is a little bit too flat and lots of trees. It doesn't really allow you to see into the future, so to say. But in this particular case, it's allowed us to see where that elephant bull will be in the next couple of minutes. Now, Kat, you've just asked me if I've ever been charged by an elephant bull. And Kat, yes, I have been, and it's probably the closest that I've ever come to having a fatal accident out here, was with an elephant bull in musth. We were on a corner, and I bent down on a corner to look at some tracks, and this elephant bull had heard us coming from a long way away and was standing dead still, listening to us. And then all of a sudden we stopped making a noise, and he came down the road to inspect what we were doing. And of course we were on the blind side of a corner, and as he arrived around this corner, we stood up, and this elephant was really close to us, about 5 yards away. And he got a fright and I got a fright, and because he's so full of testosterone during this musth period that these bull elephant go into, he immediately put his head down and he charged me. And I must be honest with you, it led to an encounter that lasted probably about 10 minutes of trying to create distance with this bull elephant that just didn't want to allow us to leave him alone, and eventually ended up with me having to dive underneath his trunk and tusks and run and jump off the edge of this drainage line to get away from him, and basically this embankment that didn't allow him to come down the embankment but allowed me to create some distance, and I ended up running away from him. That's probably about the closest I've come to dying out here, was with an elephant bull in musth, precisely like that one that I've just shown you now. Very, very exciting, these bull elephant in musth. Now, a lot of people say that you shouldn't walk these particular animals, you shouldn't approach them, but in my experience it's all just about respect. It's as long as we make sure that the wind from us is not gusting and puffing straight into his face, which will infuriate him, we know this, and as long as we create and keep that distance that he needs around him, he won't give us any trouble. I mean, we've been pretty close to, it's just Jean-Andre tripping over one of the only stumps that we've got over here. I'll show you. There's only 2 stumps in the last 50 meters, and he's managed to step over both of them. Now he's daring me to show you. Here. He's just bounced over that one. Now, I want to see if we can stay here for a little bit and actually watch that bull elephant go into that herd. That communicates, or elephant communicates, with infrasound, and those elephant, or those female elephant, absolutely know that this bull is on approach to them. And if they've got calves and if they've got youngsters, they start to cluster together and they start to sort of want to protect themselves from this bull. And it's not because he's going to run in there and kill one of the baby elephant. They tend to be sort of overly enthusiastic at pressing their suit, I think, for lack of a better phrase. But we can see those elephant from here. We can actually just see the tail end of those elephant there, and we're going to wait here and see if we can see that bull elephant approach those females. We're going to send you over to Taylor now. We'll wait here and we'll see what we can uncover for you.
I'm with my book. I eventually found my page number, and I hope you enjoyed that little segment with Steph. How incredible was that? So if you have a look here, and you go all the way down, I apologize, my hands are a little bit dirty because of the oil. If you look at this bird here, this is the southern carmine bee-eater that James Richard was asking about. There it is. It's beautiful and pink. It's an unusual bird. You can't miss it, and I don't think you can mistake it for anything. There's nothing quite like it with those lovely pinkish colors. And you know, when I used to see them a lot is every now and then down in the south we would do burns, these little conservation burns, just to try and lower the fuel load on some encroaching bush, and also just to get rid of the excess moribund, so to get rid of all the unfortunate vegetation that builds up over time that is unwanted. I'm just going to quickly close the book and put it away. And particularly those carmine bee-eaters, we'd often see them towards the end of the year, swooping down and catching all the insects that are trying to... Oh, listen. Southern ground hornbills. Can you believe it? Now we need to find them. Where are you? I'm just looking over my shoulder. I'm trying to work out where they are. They're somewhere behind us. I hope you all heard that. That was so cool, and I'm so sorry. You see, I get distracted very quickly, but I get distracted for the right reasons. Okay. There's so much that I wanted to show you, because I also wanted to give you a sneak peek of the sunset. Let's do that actually. I want to show you a quick sneak peek of the sunset, and then I'm going to turn around and we're going to go back and try and find these hornbills, because I think they could still be in the thicket. So have a look at that. Now the clouds have opened up slightly. Sorry, I parked on a bit of a bump. And you can see those beautiful colors. Now we're going to do a follow-up. We're going to wait until the sun comes through and below the clouds. And we're going to have another look, because I think it's going to be spectacular. Now I need to reverse. I need to turn my vehicle. Oh, I need to turn Rusty around. So let's turn Rusty around quickly, because we are going to find these hornbills. I've only seen them once since I've been here, and they gave me an amazing sighting. It was quite spectacular. Actually, David, it was with you.
No, don't worry, Taylor, don't worry.
Okay. Right. Let me reverse quickly. I think David brings much luck with the birds in the rain. Let's see. Did I see one? Did I see one coming through? Please be one. No, please don't be a Logosaurus. I'll be devastated if it's a Logosaurus. Now, it has to be there, because I don't know any other bird that makes a sound like that. And I know for a fact that the logs may fool us with our eyesight, but they do not make any sound. So let's look very carefully in here. See, I've got it. Found it. There it is. Can you see it? Okay, there it's running. There it's running. Can you see it there? Look, it's quite difficult to see because of all the trees, but we found it. Now, are you on your own, or are your friends here? Now, we need to keep looking. You can see it just moving in the distance. This is so amazing. I love it when things like this happen. I think there's more than one here. I can still hear a few chatting away. I'm just trying to think. I'm just going to very quickly check on the GPS. I want to see if there's another road perhaps close by, because they seem to be moving into the thicket now. Let me just double check. So you see me looking down here. I'm looking on the map. We are over here. No. Now, unfortunately for us, we have to turn this off. They have gone into the thicket, but I think it's coming out. Let me see. I need to try and go on electric mode. I need to try and stay as quiet as I can, because they get quite startled by the vehicles. Not necessarily the sound of my voice, but they don't like the vehicles moving around. And I've seen another vehicle. This is going to be so exciting. I want to try and get their attention. It's Mike. I'm trying to tell Mike to switch his vehicle. There's southern ground hornbills here. That's the reason why I'm making such a fuss about these birds, and for the viewers who've been watching for such a long time, you know how special these birds are, and we never get to see them. I think there's one that's going to come towards us. There's one's calling slightly to the right, and I think it's going to join up with that bird that we've seen. So possibly they're going to come here, and I think if anything, we're going to have a good gap of them coming through this open area. I'm so sorry, I had to tell Mike. I couldn't let him drive past and his guests not see, if not the most rare bird in Africa. I mean, how amazing. You get to see all these lions and leopards and all these incredible creatures, but to top it off with a southern ground hornbill. Amazing. Right. While I sit here, I'm going to wait for them to come out. I'm not going anywhere. Let's go to James, who's got another feathery creature.
Look, Brian, it's a broad-billed roller. Can you see?
Oh, it's wonderful.
What a beautiful broad-billed roller that is.
Amazing.
Amazing broad-billed roller. Ah, I'm so glad we found it, aren't you, Brian? Good stuff. Everybody, that is not a broad-billed roller at all. It is the lilac-breasted variety, common resident here. But very gorgeous nevertheless. The most gorgeous of the common birds we find. And to many, maybe even the most gorgeous of all the birds that we find here. He's found something very interesting off to the eastern side of where he's sitting, and there's quite a nice picture of him. Now that's the one thing I wanted to talk about here. The other is for me to be very quiet, quite suddenly, while I consider the question of Michael. Michael, I am thinking about your question. Just be very quiet, everybody, and have a listen. I don't think you can hear it, everyone. I can just hear it when the wind turns this way. It's the beating of drums in the villages. A long way, probably about, say 6 or 7 miles as the crow flies. And of course that was a way people used to communicate out here. They'd send a drum signal on the wind across these great plains and woodlands. And that's how the original inhabitants, I suspect, did a lot of their communications. I can only just very faintly hear it, so I don't think the microphone would have picked it up. But Sunday afternoons, often when the Shangaan people around here do what they call muchongolo dancing, which is the sort of traditional dancing. And they have great competitions with huge big drums being thrashed. Oof, look at that. Bit of a stretch. Beautiful. Righty, I'm afraid we did a whole sort of scan of the southern regions, everybody, but at the moment our comms are not working down there, so we've come back north. And we'll see what else we can find here. We did find a lilac-breasted roller, didn't we, Brian? But not a broad-billed roller. Oh no. We'll keep going this way. We've also seen lots of kudu and many zebra. Watch out, Brian, there's a tree in the way. Right, there's a little clearing up ahead. Ooh, here we go. There is the bird that you heard in the background going. There it is, Brian. The Coqui francolin with its golden head. Do not walk behind that bush, bird. Absolutely no bravery at all. Lily-livered little bird. There it is, it's coming out. I'd so very like to have a picture of one of them, but I'm afraid that one is too far away. They're beautiful. That golden head is quite something. I tell you, there's a sense of expectancy, and also in the background I can just hear the odd rumble of thunder. It's a long way away, I don't think it's going to rain. But it does give the air a sense of expectancy. Just looking for grass seeds, hunkering down there to try and hide. Thinks it may have been spotted. It has. By us, I mean. And you can see completely hopelessly camouflaged against the green, but as soon as it goes out of the green and onto the sort of grey-brown earth, poop, disappears. It's brilliant. Cool. Coqui francolin. There's a little clearing around here. I'm sure there'll be some impala. We have to stop for impala at least once a day, everyone. Rebecca says, yes, that's true. They're very important. There they are, Brian. I just don't know where to stop because there are a lot of sticks in the way. They're rather beautifully lit by the fading embers of the day. Let's see if they'll run past this gap. All right, on your marks. Get set. Go. There we are. They're not quite running yet, are they? They're not even power walking. Look how nicely lit they are. And of course we're looking at about a month now, just 4 short weeks until the newborn baby impalas are born. And Brent said that already a young wildebeest had been born and then eaten almost immediately. It may have been eaten before it was born, I can't remember exactly. But the time of the lambing and calving season is very soon. Still looking for pretty skinny. It hasn't put on condition in the same speed that the elephants did. There we are. Just coming up to his 2nd birthday. Well done. 50% of your birth cohort would not have made it that far. Very nice. That was our impala sighting of the day, Brian. I think it was very wonderful. Right. We'll see how far north we can go on this radio channel. So just to orientate you slightly, quarantine is off to the eastern side there. We're not far from there, we're not far from home. And I believe the fireside chat has been moved, not from the time, but into the tent today. So it won't be a fireside chat so much as a, what should we call it, Brian? An in-tent chat.
Yeah.
That's not very romantic, is it? In-tent chat. No, it doesn't have the same ring to it as fireside chat, does it?
Fireside tent.
We could do the fireside tent. It might result in the tent going up in flames, of course. Should not be ideal. Okay, let's go and find out if Taylor is still with her ground hornbills. If not, I'm sure the lions are nearby.
I don't want to say too much. We have found a hornbill in a tree. How beautiful is this silhouette? I know it's slightly distorted, but listen, turn your volume up. Come on, keep it going. It is honestly the most beautiful thing to be able to look at the silhouette of the southern ground hornbill with the beautiful African sun behind it. And then to have them calling, I've got goosebumps. It is so amazing. I don't even know what to say. I'm a little bit speechless, so I apologize. So sightings like this, they don't come around. I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to see a silhouette of an amazing, I know I'm using amazing a lot, but I don't know what else to use to describe this bird. It's breathtaking. So take screen captures, because I don't know when you're going to see something like this again. And we're in perfect view. Like I said, I gave you a little sneak peek, of the sun. We're just waiting for that sun to peep down through the clouds now. Now we often see the hornbills, the southern ground hornbills, roosting up in trees. And they normally just do this at night to rest, to sleep. And I know that P. Hart was wondering, where do they nest? Do they nest on the ground? And that's correct. They do indeed nest down on the ground. Very simple nest. I might just stop talking abruptly, but don't be alarmed. I'm doing it for the greater good, because I can hear the other hornbill in the distance calling. So I'm hoping that this one that's only about 30 meters away from us gives us another call. So if I do that, I do apologize, but I'm sure that you won't mind it too much. Their voices are much better than mine. Isn't this incredible, watching it groom? Now, what I really love, but I think I could be asking too much, is if those two other hornbills that we can still hear calling in the distance perhaps come around here and join this hornbill up in this marula tree. Now, it's not a particularly big marula tree, so I don't know if it's going to be room for all of them. That is so special. Now, I unfortunately can't take any photos of this just because it's a little bit too obstructed, but I reckon that at home you could get an incredible shot. And we'd love to see them, so remember, when you do take a screen capture, hashtag Safari Live if you're going to post it on Twitter, so we're just adjusting the camera there. Or wherever you post it, just remember to mention us so we can all see something as memorable as this. Look at that, look at this, look at the sun coming out now in the corner of your screen. It honestly couldn't be better, and I'm sad because we didn't really get the rain. The clouds have now opened up again. But listen. Oh, listen, listen, listen. Crank that volume up. Come on, give a response back. They're calling in the distance. No, enjoying grooming itself. Now, it's quite difficult to tell because I can also only see a silhouette of this bird, but its beak doesn't look particularly big, and I'm wondering if this is perhaps not a female that's up in the tree. Maybe, maybe not. I could be wrong. I'm sort of staring into the sun. And I wonder if it's that same family of four, or perhaps it's another group. They're quite territorial though. I'm just having a look over my shoulder. Right. I'm going to spend a little bit more time with these hornbills. I think it could be quite beautiful if the others join. And while I wait for the perfect moment, let's go back to James, who's got some elephants.
We're quite close to this elephant, everybody. She's crossing the road in front of us on an elephant path. She just gave us a bit of a head shake as if to say, don't move. So I'm speaking very quietly in order that she might not become deeply irritated by us. Wonderful sighting. Really was special. She was only about 5 meters from us when she went. She shook her head. There they go. I think they're heading towards Sydney's dam now. Let's go a little bit forward. That was really special. Tiny little breeding herd of just 3. And then we'll go up onto the sandy patch and have a look at the sun setting over the mountains. Look at the light. Isn't the light beautiful? Maybe they've already had a drink, but I think they'll probably end up at Sydney's dam. That's a very reliable source of water for them. And there they go. Right, let's go up onto Sandy Patch and have a look at the mountains. And the sun. Just the most gorgeous afternoon. I'm told now, everybody, that things have changed. We won't be having an intent chat. We'll be having a fireside chat. The rain seems to have held off. Right, let us ooze down the road here. Hello Debbie in Vancouver, you say what a glorious sunset. It's a glorious day, full stop. It's just so wonderful. It's warm, there's an expectancy of water, there are elephants everywhere. Couple of buffalo here and there, some impala, zebra everywhere. This is why we do the job we do, I suppose. You're just going to float gently into this clearing. If the old bat that is Jigger manages to get there without having to start the engine again, come on, come on, that's it, come on. She's not going to do it, is she, Brian? No. There we are. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, Brian, gorgeous. Sometimes it just feels like everything's right with the world, doesn't it, Brian?
It is, isn't it?
Now, you might just be able to hear. It's not, in fact, the sound of drums so much as the sound of revelry. There's a party going on in Dixie. There's also a fly having a party on my head. And then just below us, thinking it is hiding from us with its clever camouflage, a very beautiful little bird, the crowned lapwing. That is so cool. We'll just have a quick look now. It's paused on one leg, no doubt, closer to us, Brian. Right here. Look at that. How cool is that? Hello. What you can see there quite nicely with it zoomed like this is the lack of a back toe. Now, I've mentioned quite often that they don't have a back toe. They look like little ostrich feet almost. Isn't that awesome? Also, you can see that it has, well, it's gone to the loo on its own legs. Now, they do that because they like to, they keep their legs cool that way, and they've also got specialized salt glands, but those are in their noses. That's got nothing to do with the whiteness on their legs, but that is uric acid that you can see on their legs, and that's because they urinate, they defecate on their legs to keep them cool on a hot day like today. Look at the claw, just going down into the dirt, so delicate, but at this resolution, wow, I mean, it really does look a little bit like an ostrich. That bird, everybody, stands from beak to the tip of its tail only, probably about a foot long. Hello. You will see why it's called a crowned lapwing. Little tooth at the end of the bill, skulking about. Would not surprise me to find that they had a little nest here. Hello, I missed the name, I'm afraid. It sounded like LOL. If that is your name, LOL, is that not a nest there?
It is, with an egg.
Yeah, there's an egg. I knew it. Look at the little egg. 3 eggs. Wow. I knew there was a nest here. How cool is that? I'm afraid, Rebecca, your comms have gone for a ball of chalk.
I don't know why.
Sorry, everybody, we have got a new radio system at the moment, and every time somebody talks on the Game Drive channel and Rebecca tries to talk at the same time, you can hear it. Anyway, she was laughing at the sound of her own voice there, clearly. Isn't that cool? That's probably Mrs. Lapwing. Normally, if you get too close and they're far away, they'll come zooping in, yelling and screaming and try and draw you away. But because we're so close, I think she's probably just decided to pretend that they're not really there. Let's see if she walks onto them and sits down. How cool is that? And that lack of a back foot, of course, is one of the major reasons they must put their eggs on the ground. They cannot perch, they cannot sit in a tree. They are designed purely for coursing or running, a bit like us, with our heel coming straight out of or our foot sort of extended entirely forward with no part of the limb in the back there. And that makes a very efficient bipedal motion. Right, sorry, there were two questions. One question was, why do birds walk around with their heads bobbing up and down? I think it's just a function of design. I think it's just it's the same reason that a horse moves with its head moving up and down. When it moves the shoulders, that moves the neck muscles, and so the head moves up and down slowly, I think, and I would suspect it's the same with a bird. I think it also might have to do with their ability to judge distance. So if you are trying to judge distance, I don't know if you've ever done it, but certainly if you've ever watched a monkey in a tree looking at you, moving its head from side to side, and birds do it as well sometimes when they're sitting still, it helps them to judge the distance from the thing that they're going to attack. So raptors especially will do that. I don't know if that's why birds like this, when they walk, are doing it. I think it's probably more physical than it is to try and get some sort of a three-dimensional view. And beautiful eyes. There's the salt gland. There you can see the salt. Now, this is wonderful. So these birds are independent of water. And what it means is that one of the reasons they're independent of water and they can live on soil like this, which is full of salt, that's why it's so white, is that they can exude salt, they can excrete it through special glands just behind their noses, and that is the salt that you can see there. And that means that they have to drink much less than other birds. Hello, and another comment from, I think, what sounded like Robber B, and I'm not sure if that was the name or not, but Robber B, that's what you're going to be today. You say it's interesting that the pupils are so wide. I was wondering about that myself, and I mean, it's not dark by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I'm not sure how dilated my pupils are. Brian, how dilated are my pupils?
Not dilated at all.
Not dilated at all, yes. You see, it's not very dark, so I'm not really sure why it should have such dilated pupils. Perhaps it's been drinking too much, or it's on an acid trip. But I don't think either of those things. Wonderful. Right, we're going to move on. We're going to turn around and then head back because the communications are starting to falter where we are now. We'll just go forward to the next junction and turn around.
Has been absolutely mauled by elephant. And what's going to be quite interesting, and what I'd like to do with you over the next couple of minutes, is to see what trees the elephants have favored. It's easier to see now at the end of October. This is our hell month. This is the month that I've predicted is going to be the most difficult for us to get through. The last half of this month. Today was just a taste of what's to come in the next 2 weeks, methinks. The heat and the unrelenting hammering of the heat is what brings the rain, and of course that's what we're hoping the most for. But come along over here. I want to see what trees have taken the brunt of the elephants' attentions, and let's start here. This is the roundleaf bloodwood that has been a bit mauled by the ellies, but not this season. Here we have a combretum. This is one of the bush willows. It's been knocked over, some of the leaves have been fed on, but mostly the roots, and I've noticed that over the last couple of days. And then as we look forward into this glade, we've got, what have we got over here? We've got some more bush willow, we've got a sickle bush, a zebra wood, in actual fact not a sickle bush, excuse me for that diagnosis there. So that is a zebra wood, much more combretums. I mean, just look at this. Now, this glade that's been opened and has been cleared of shade is going to be a seed bed or seeding ground for grass. Now, without trees pumping the water out of this area, a decent sized tree can pump up to 200 liters of water out per day. Without the trees drying up the ground, the grass starts to take root. And that's what we think is going to happen now. That's the succession that we think is going to happen now after the drought is broken. We're hoping it breaks this year. It may not. Of course, the drought may carry on for the next year. It may carry on for the next 2 or 3 years. But what I'm hoping to see is these open glades like this become grass havens. And it's going to be interesting to see that, I must be honest with you. I'm looking forward to see what exactly happens once the elephant now have done what they've done. Here's another zebra wood. This is a square-stemmed raisin that's literally been reduced to a bunch of kindling. This is another round-leaf bloodwood. They tend to do pretty well though with elephant attentions. There is a knobthorn that has been bent over completely. This is a buffalo thorn. This buffalo thorn has also been stood on and been trampled. Now, Carol, you've asked me, what is that tree that grows in twisted spirals? Carol, the only tree that I've seen here that grows in twisted spirals is these bush willows. They grow in this unbelievable, especially when they've been damaged, they grow in this snake or the serpentine twist around one another. Let's see if we can see it on this tree. This is one of them. I would expect this tree to have grown like that. You can see where there are two different branches over here, right from close to the ground. It's usually those ones, the ones that are close to the ground, that grow in that twisted spiral. But you're looking at the tree that I know to have that growth form in that twisted spiral that we see. And it's just because these trees are so resilient to being damaged by elephant that even if they are coppiced from a young age, they can usually grow and carry on growing without too much of a worry. Let's carry on over here. Carry on with our little exploration. These are all just a mixture of roundleaf bloodwoods, a zebra wood and a knobthorn. This buffalo thorn, I was going to actually walk through that gap, but I don't think Jean-Andre will make it. I think this will pull his legs off. He's got unbelievably huge calves, and so I always got to take that into consideration when we're picking paths in the bush, and something as wide as an elephant path is just wide enough for Jean-Andre's calves to make it through. And then just lastly, we've got this marula tree that's been hammered by an elephant at sort of head level. But Taylor has found those ground hornbills, and off you go. We'll catch up with you later.
We have got them again. Have a look at this. Now they're chatting away, and this hornbill that we can see, it's got some sort of insect. It looked like quite a large grasshopper, or perhaps even a locust. You can see it. Just, oh no! Is it what is that? It does look a bit like a grasshopper. Like, I'm going to stick with my guns. I got excited. I thought that perhaps it was a solifuge. It looks very solifuge color-like, but I think it is a grasshopper. Now they are chatting away so beautifully, and I'm so happy that we've managed to get a view of this hornbill. And if this is your first time watching the show, and perhaps maybe you've just tuned in now, maybe someone texted you and told you you've got to watch this show, it's incredible, lots of wildlife. Well, it is live, and we've been chasing these hornbills for the last 20 minutes to try and get a good view of them, and we finally did. Wasn't that amazing? You can see it just disappearing over there. I'm so happy that this one... Oops. Sorry, I just want to quickly get that question again. My communication did all sorts of strange things. But have a look at the sunset as well. Now, Ashwa, sorry, I apologize if I've got your name incorrect. I'm not hearing 100% correctly. But you were wondering how endangered the southern ground hornbills are. They are extremely endangered. Now, unfortunately, there's probably only a few hundred pairs, maybe not even a few hundred pairs left in this area. The last time that I checked, there's about probably less than 1,000 breeding pairs of southern ground hornbills left in South Africa, which is not a lot at all. So there are concerted efforts that are trying to breed them up. And one of the problems is a variety of different things, unfortunately, that are causing them to be quite vulnerable. But something that we are trying to help with is that when a hornbill makes its nest, and we were chatting about how a hornbill makes its nest on the ground, they lay 2 eggs. But unfortunately, one is usually only survives. It's very rare that 2 chicks will survive. So what they're trying to do is that when they find a nest of a hornbill, once the hornbills have laid their eggs, they're trying to remove one of those eggs and then hatch them in an incubator and then try and release them again. That's the idea, and hopefully we'll get the numbers up like that. Obviously there's a variety of different things because of various poisons that they've used to try and control tick populations on cattle. Unfortunately there was a few that are now banned, like DDT. It's not around anymore, and that caused a lot of deaths. I just want to look over my shoulder, sorry. I'm hearing a variety of different things, but I don't think it was a hornbill. Perhaps it was an insect of some sort. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to go up a little bit further. I want to have a quick look and see if we can't get one last look of these hornbills. There's one. Found another one. Can you see it there? You can just see it in the distance, and of course it's going to start disappearing. Now this is our friend who is up posing so beautifully in the marula tree. Now, here we go, having a quick look at us. Take some screenshots because these birds don't come around too often, though we seem to be seeing them a little bit more regularly, which is quite nice. And when I say regular, once a month is fantastic. Even once in a few months is even better. They're all coming out. There's another one that's going to cross the road. You see that one coming? I'm going to duck down. You're going to see it come out. There it is. Have you still got your gift, or did you finish eating it? Now, just talking about how vulnerable they are, and I said to you that they lay 2 eggs, and normally only one survives. Now, unfortunately, that chick takes ages to reach adulthood, up to 7 years, and it will live with this group, this family of hornbills, and they will feed that chick until it reaches adulthood, and then they will most likely stay with the family and carry on. There's the other one. So that's the other thing, is that they're not efficient breeders either. It takes a long time. That's something that we've also got to keep in mind. Did you see that hornbill? It looked like it picked a tick or something off of its body, and then it thought, oh well, there's no such thing as wasting out here. Might as well nibble on a bit of that protein. And then threw it back up and gobbled it straight down. And I just love the way how they open their wings slightly when they're about to call. It's so beautiful. Now, if you've ever seen a hornbill fly, they're quite spectacular. They've got massive wings. You can see the little starling on the bottom of your screen as well. And they've got lovely white wing paneling. So it's quite interesting when they swoop around and you think, oh, what on earth is that big bird? And it says hornbill. Now, the last time that I saw the hornbills, they were trying to evade us, and one went and sat in a marula tree, and David and I actually saw a feather dropped. Now, we were uncertain. There was a bit of a debate if it was bark or not, and David and I went back and we watched the replay, and it was indeed a feather. However, we did not find it, but I will keep searching in that area. Maybe a gentle breeze took it and deposited it maybe a few meters away from where we were searching, but one day I'll come across that feather. And that will be a very, very lucky day. I think James would enjoy examining a hornbill feather under the tent, especially one of this size. Isn't that fantastic? Well, they're disappearing now. Oh no, look, they're up in the tree. We're going to get a better silhouette. I'm going to move forward. This is incredible. Just when I thought, look, 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 look. How incredible is that? There we go, everyone. Here's your opportunity. This is so special. Now James is going to drive into me because he's racing up ahead. James, look at this, James. Look at the hornbill. Bye, James. He's gone. He's raced past us. Look at these beautiful birds. Now, the other one is sitting in the tree. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's not as great of a shot, but it's also hidden behind a fork. But that's a great tree. Oh, there's another. They're coming. Look at this. Oh, look at them. They're all landing. Did you see that white that I was talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 hornbills here. Now, there's 3 on this tree. I think there's 3. Did you see 3 or are there only 2 here? Okay, I thought I saw 3, but there's 2 there. Sorry, everyone. I know I'm super excited, but this is so special to see something like this. I mean, it's one thing to see them down on the ground, but then to see them up and posing in the tree and just telling you about how beautiful the white feathers are underneath their wings. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. I need to get my binoculars out because I want to have another look. I'm confused if there's... So please excuse me, I just want to check. Binoculars are very helpful tools. There are 5 hornbills here. The last time I saw a group of hornbills, there were only 4. But we're looking at 2, and then there's actually 2 in that fork of the tree on the other side. If you can see it, let's see if we can have a little look. They almost look like they're one hornbill because they're so... No, if you carry on to the other tree where they were, there we go, down in the fork. You can actually see now, you can see that there's 2. You see that? Isn't that spectacular? Finally! So I wonder if we didn't just miss one. We've seen how shy they are and they do tend to avoid the vehicle. So perhaps the other day we did just miss. We just missed the 5th one that was lurking. That's amazing though. Look at them all. Very interesting how they're opening their wings like that. Normally we see the birds opening their wings and sunning themselves in the morning. Now, just chatting about their posture, like I said, it's quite interesting. And Green, well done for noticing. You're also wondering if that's their normal posture up in the tree. It's quite bizarre. Let's go to the one, sorry David, that one that's out in the open on the right. Don't you think it resembles something of a cormorant or perhaps a, oh my goodness, I've forgotten my water birds. Oh, a bit of a branch just broke. Now, normally we see the water birds opening their wings like that. Oh, look at that. Incredible. Just flew off, flying to the other side. When they're drying their wings, perhaps these ones are going to fly as well. So I'm not sure why they are sitting like that. It's quite bizarre, but quite beautiful. It's not something that I could say is strange, I suppose. I have to rephrase there, and I apologize. We do normally see them walking around, opening their wings. Maybe they're just giving them a stretch, grooming themselves in spots where they don't normally get an opportunity to. How amazing is this scene? 5 southern ground hornbills hopping around on a dead tree. Probably a knobthorn. It was once a knobthorn, I presume. And just resting here. I wonder if they're going to roost here. It wouldn't be a good place to roost if there was a storm. You perhaps want to maybe roost on something with a little bit more cover, but I don't think we're going to get any rain now. Downpour Dave also says he doesn't think we're going to get any rain. Now we're going to watch carefully because if another feather drops, well, tomorrow morning I'm coming to this tree. Look at them. They've stopped singing now. They've all found each other. And often that birds communicate just to try and relocate and find each other, especially when they live in families like this. It looks like they're trying to get comfortable. Look at those beautiful wings. This has to be the best hornbill sighting I have ever had in my 5 years of being in the bush for every single day. What are you going to do? Are you jumping? Look, there we go. That's what I was trying to do. Build up enough courage to leap across. Look at that. Isn't this amazing? And I'm sorry if some of you don't enjoy birds, but this is just too special to not take full advantage of a sighting like this. Now, I hope that there are the 5 of them here, the dominant pair. I hope they do perhaps lay an egg or 2 eggs somewhere in the near future. I think it is coming into breeding season for them now, if I'm not mistaken. wouldn't that be amazing to watch a chick? Imagine if we could find the nest and watch, like we watch the Wahlberg's eagles, and watch them grow, and watch one little chick grow. Wouldn't that be so special? Now, this has been absolutely spectacular this afternoon, and I hope that you've enjoyed the hornbills. But I think we're going to let them roost and go back to bed. And while we let them relax, let's go back to Steph, who's got a giraffe.
Look at what's watching us through the undergrowth here. It's two female giraffe. They've just moved off. And no, not moved off. 3 giraffe as far as I know. In the distance there, probably about 50 yards from us right now. 3 or 4 giraffe. Isn't it just so special? The whole day today, we've been allowed such close proximity to animals while we've been out on foot here, and I don't really know what it's about. With the zebra that we were with a little bit earlier on this afternoon, I put it down to the wind direction being totally in our favor. The wind direction was in our favor with that big bull elephant as well. And now it looks to me like we've got the wind direction in our favor again. There is no wind at the moment. And that's probably why we're not gusting onto these, or our scent is not gusting onto these giraffe, or vice versa, their scent gusting onto us. And they know that they're at that comfortable distance where they can carry on doing what they're doing, but without our proximity influencing them, their behavior whatsoever. It's just so nice to be on foot, dead quiet. And now they've busy heard, or they heard me talking like that. They got a very quizzed look about themselves. And of course, going back to feeding is exactly what we want to see. So we're probably right on the edge of that comfort zone between them knowing that we're here but not caring, being too close and letting them move off, or being too far away that they're completely unaware of our presence. So we're right on that cusp, that very, very special and very difficult to achieve cusp. Where they know that we're here, we obviously know that they're there, but we're having no influence on their behavior or no change to their behavior, and we can share the moment together. See, the breeze has just picked up now. This light breeze that's blowing from the upslopes down the slope. They're busy eating. I just want to have a look. It looks like they're feeding on a tamboti tree. Difficult even for me to say from this angle, but it looks like a young tamboti. I'm going to say it's a young tamboti. Giraffe, and only because of this exercise, giraffe at this time of the year, along with nyala and black rhino, and even elephant at times, will eat and feed on tamboti. And that's because it's so dry and because there's not too much water around, the tamboti tree itself has retracted a lot of the sap that it has inside of it, carrying all those poisonous compounds, and allows them to feed on the leaves during very specific times of the year, during the dry season and during the end of the dry season. It allows them to feed on tamboti. In the height of summer, from about January through to about April, only a very, very few select animals can actually feed on tamboti leaves. They, this time of the year, feed on them. You do sometimes see it gives them a bit of a runny tummy, or in particular in the case of elephant and black rhino, it gives them a bit of a runny tummy. I've never really seen a giraffe with a runny tummy. Put it down to it, I've never seen a giraffe with a runny tummy at all, to be quite honest. I think it would be quite funny actually. There you've got all female giraffe, and I know they're female even at this distance because of that tuft of hair on the top of their horns. If they were males, the horns would be bald on the crown, on the top of the horn. These have except the one that's on the far left. You can see in contrast the two giraffe there very, very clearly. The one on the right hand side is a female. You can see she's got, almost looks like a matchstick or a paintbrush. The male, which is the one that's now hiding behind the tree, he's got the bald crowns to the tops of his horns, or as we call them, ossicones. Now, William, all the way from Oregon, you've asked me how a giraffe's vision is. William, I would say that the giraffe's vision is pretty good. Not only do they have a height advantage, but quite often when you first see giraffe, they're looking straight at you. And in particular, when a giraffe is looking at a leopard or looking at a jackal or looking at some lion, it's the first thing that you notice is their vision onto something. So I would say that a giraffe's vision is pretty good. I would say that they see, no, I don't think they see in color. Let me just try and, in my mind, rationalize that. Why is that? It's because they don't need to judge the ripeness of any of the food that they eat. They also don't need to judge facial expression and complexion, much like we would, or much like the primates would at least. So they don't see, I don't believe they see in color, and it would only help them to see in shades of gray, which would leave a lot more space in their eyes for more rods, which would give them a greater nighttime vision, which of course will enable them to avoid being preyed upon by lion. In an area that's as thick as what this is, giraffe will fall prey to lion. Lion obviously need to learn how to hunt giraffe. They're way above what the average prey weight is for lion, which is around about 600 pounds or so. Giraffe obviously weighing probably around about the 3,000 pounds for a big bull giraffe. These couple here will weigh around about 1,500 to 2,000 pounds of very heavy, incredibly powerful kick. Lions need to learn how to hunt these giraffe. But lions living in this area will know the giraffe are unstable when they get chased through thickets like this and through depressions like we've got in front of us. And because of their tall and their relatively high, small center of gravity, giraffe, it's easy for them to trip and fall. And of course, once they're down, lions can avoid their legs and jump onto their necks and their heads, which is the end of it for them. Well, we are going to link over to Taylor, who's got some impala for you, and we're going to carry on trying to race the sunset back to camp.
Something that I haven't even really seen today is a beautiful herd of impala, which we are normally blessed with seeing every single day, and in numerous numbers as well. Isn't that just a pretty picture as the sun has dropped now below the horizon? All those purples and pinks coming through. And all the impala, obviously, I'm sure they, if you were watching the dam cam, perhaps they went down for a drink. Now they're moving away towards quarantine open air. It's lovely and open there, as you all know. That's a good spot to perhaps rest and not be surprised, hopefully, by any leopards or lions or hyenas or whatever may be trying to hunt them at night. You can see them, there's quite a few. And I'm glad that we have had this rain, because we all know that the females are due to give birth in the next 2 months or so, and we wouldn't want them. There goes the game drive vehicle having a wonderful afternoon, as we are, and we wouldn't want those impala, to, obviously the lambs that are inside the mothers, to suffer. So we're so happy out here that they've got all this lovely vegetation to feed on. Those lovely marula trees as well, those big trees, all the leaves on. I can't believe it. I was only gone for 10 days and it's like the bush has changed completely. Everything is green. There's still a few sandy patches on the ground, but the trees are looking lovely and lush, and it's definitely becoming a little bit more dense, which is going to be interesting for walking. And I'm excited, as you know. I can't wait to eat all the marula fruit. I'm going to try and collect as many packets as I can, so that's something to look out for. I wish I could post some to you so you could all taste a marula fruit. It's quite special. Look at those bums grooming each other, grooming themselves, getting ready for what the night has for them. Perhaps they're going to a boogie. Perhaps they're going to have an early night. I'm not sure. Oh, and a zebra! What sneaky? Where did you come from? Just coming in from behind. I didn't even know that they were here. That's quite typical. We normally see the zebra and the impala together, and I believe that you've been seeing loads of big herds of zebra, which is exciting. I did say that. I said after the first rains, I said we're going to see so many more, a variety of species of animals and in much larger herds, but unfortunately this is not going to last for long. As the other areas start to get rain and the grass starts to come through, they're going to start moving to those areas. Like I said, soon the zebras, the elephants, they're all going to go back down south. But we're going to make the most of it while we have the privilege of seeing all these wonderful animals together. That is such a perfect picture. It's like somebody's taken a paintbrush and painted it across the sky. You've got the zebras, you've got the impala, the silhouette of the trees. It's incredible. And I hope you enjoyed that lovely shot. But now we're going to go back to Steph and see how he's coping in the darkness.
I'm coping fine in the darkness for now, although it is getting dark rapidly, and that's why we will be heading back to the camp when we can. But I want to show you the next endeavor that I'm busy with here. Here is a peeled stick. And this was from a combretum that an elephant had pushed over recently. One of those sticks that I was just showing you in actual fact when we were busy naming all the trees in that glade that those elephants had pushed over. And I've overcome my disappointment at my recent failures at trying to produce a fire by friction. And because I've overcome my bad luck, I've decided to pick it up again. So what I'm making over here is a drill stick. This is going to be my drill. And this is going to be my base or my hearth board. And you can see I've made them from the same tree. The stick was in actual fact same branch. This one was just much further down. It was about this much of the branch that I chopped off. What I'm going to do is I've peeled this. I'll try and make this one edit, and the more cylindrical you you're going to see me playing with a peel, be peeling off slabs of bark like this. What I'm doing is cutting into this particular branch a depression, a circular depression. A circular depression is the loss of
Good evening and welcome to this evening's much anticipated